What's going on? You're watching NFL Daily. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And coming up here on today's show, I have 5 juicy NFL trades that could potentially happen before training camp starts somewhere in around middle of July. I wouldn't be able to do today's show if it wasn't for our awesome sponsor, Aura. And if you haven't already started your free trial, go to aura.com/chatsports because all they're trying to do is make sure that you and your family are safe and secure on the internet and trying to protect your money. Let's go to the first name coming up here on my NFL trade ideas list. It's Washington Commanders wide receiver Terry McLaurin. Let's face it, McLaurin wants a new deal, and I believe he deserves a new deal. He is one of the most underappreciated wide receivers in the NFL because of the quarterbacks he's had to play with. He not only held out of OTAs, he's holding out of minicamp, and I have heard this before from coaches, and I'm going to read this off because Commanders head coach Ron Rivera said, we're not trading Terry McLaurin. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been following the NFL for a very long time. This might sound crazy. Just because a coach says it's not going to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Because let's face it, if the Commanders don't give McLaurin big-time money, he's going to be like, get me the hell out of here. I deserve to be paid. And when you talk about the highest paid wide receivers in the NFL, I'm not sure if McLaurin's going to surpass Cooper Kupp, Hopkins, Adams, or Tyreek Hill. But if I was his agent, I'd be like, give me some A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs money at least. Like, you better not flirt with the idea of paying me less than D.J. Moore. Terry McLaurin is a much better wide receiver than D.J. Moore. And when you look at his numbers through his first 3 seasons in the league, it's very impressive. 58 catches, 919 yards as a rookie. In 2020, 87 grabs, 1,118 yards. Last season, with freaking Taylor Heineke, 77 catches, 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. If you were to give him a legitimate quarterback, this is one of those receivers that would pop off the page because from a talent standpoint, I think McLaurin and Stephon Diggs are a lot closer than what a lot of people would give him credit for. So with every single player, I'm going to give my rumors, my news around these guys, my 2 cents on how good of a player I think they are, and then you're going to get a trade idea. So here's my trade idea. If, let's just say, the Commanders are like, you know what, we're not going to value Terry, one team that I believe could is the Green Bay Packers. So Green Bay, they receive McLaurin. Washington, they end up getting a second-round pick in 2023, and then Amari Rodgers, a receiver that Green Bay drafted in the second round out of Clemson. So what do you guys think here, y'all? Who wins the trade? Type WAS if you believe the Commanders win this deal, or you think the Green Bay Packers do. Let me know down in the comments by typing GB. Let's go to my next name here for NFL trade candidates before training camp gets underway. It is Eric Rowe, who is a defensive back / safety, if you will, for the Miami Dolphins. From what I understand, Miami likes Brandon Jones, and they love Jevon Holland. Hell, Jevon Holland was the first safety taken in the 2021 NFL Draft, and he had himself an incredible year. He is a do-it-all safety. And when you talk about Rowe, it's not that he's a bad player by any means. It's just Miami is higher on other guys, and by trading him away, you save $4.5 million. He started only 4 games last season, started 16 games for you in 2020. So this is a prime example of trying to sell high, because what I'm worried, if you're the Dolphins, is he doesn't play nearly as much this season, and then you don't get nearly the draft capital that he's worth. I mean, the fact that this guy had a 71.1 overall grade according to PFF last year, a 67.7 run defense grade, 68.0 pass rush grade, and then a 70.7 coverage grade, those are good numbers, and he deserves to be a starting player on a handful of teams out there. I'll show you my trade idea here in a second, but if you haven't gotten started with our sponsor or yet, what the hell are you guys waiting for? This is financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, online and device security, and family plans to protect not only you, but up to 4 other people. Aura.com/chatsports. Shop, bank, you work online more safely and more privately. And a lot of times people are like, dude, it's never going to happen to me. Well, how about this? Do you have $56 billion because the Americans in 2020 lost a combined $56 billion because of identity theft? And usually, I believe that I'm a lot smarter than the average person out there in terms of my identity getting stolen. Let me ask you guys this. Have you ever shared your Netflix password? Some of you are like, oh shit, I have. Do you trust every single friend that you've shared your Netflix password with? If your answer to that is no, then you definitely need to get started with Aura. How about this? How many accounts do you have? The average American has 90 accounts, whether that be apps, whether that be something, I don't know, a fantasy football account you got, whatever it may be. Do you have 90 different passwords? I bet most of y'all have the same password for all your accounts, and you might think that you're slick by putting an exclamation part or putting a capital T in front of a word. I don't know what it is. Aura is going to help you guys stay safe and secure because the fastest growing online scammers right now, they're out to get you. So go to aura.com/chatsports. Be smart. Try this 14-day free trial. All right, let's finally show you this trade. The Falcons, they get Eric Rowe and a 6th-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. The Miami Dolphins, they say, all right, we got to try to at least get something. They get a 5th-round pick for him. Though, I think he actually might be worth a little bit more. So who wins the deal, y'all? Type ATL for the Falcons or type MIA for the Miami Dolphins. Arguably one of the biggest names on this list here today is Robert Quinn, the defensive end for the Chicago Bears. Quinn is skipping Bears minicamp after coming off a career year. He wants a new deal, and the reason why he wants a new deal is he realizes he's not getting any younger. Coming off that career year, 32 years old. But when you look at his final 3 years of his contract, he's making about $12 million per year. And you, me, like, yeah, I would love to make that money. For Quinn, though, he's like, wait a minute, I got $0 million in guaranteed. So if the Bears wanted to move on from him, wouldn't cost them a thing. So the fact that Quinn and his agent are doing this, I do think is actually a pretty smart thing. 18.5 sacks last season, 17 tackles for loss, 4 forced fumbles, and 49 tackles. The only issue that Quinn's going to run into is he's had a little bit of a seesaw type of career in 2020. Did battle some injuries, but only 2 sacks. 2019 with the Cowboys, 11.5 sacks. 2018, 2017, he's been a good player, but he has never been an 18.5 sack player. And at age 32, if I'm Chicago, who has a new head coach who likes to build through the draft, maybe decide to ship away Quinn to a team that believes that they can compete right now and save some money and build for the future. Now, if any of these trades end up going down, you know what I'm going to say. We're going to make a video here, so make sure you join the Noti Gang. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. How do you do that? You hit the notification bell underneath the video, then you click all. I'm a competitive person, and I love and I respect the hell out of people who, when a video drops on Chat Sports, you try to be one of the very first people to comment, and that's what we call the Noti Gang. So I want you guys to join the Noti Gang. When Chat Sports drops a video, try to be the first person that comments on the show. You can say first, say me, say hey. So shout out to Lerone Jr., Avengers, Mutual War, Zeke 1, and Michael Brennan. You were the very first 5 people to comment on the last video I made at Chat Sports, which was on June 10th. So let's look now at this trade idea. The Raiders, they receive Robert Quinn. The Bears receive Denzel Good, who is a offensive guard for Las Vegas, and then a 3rd-round pick. I asked Harrison Graham, who runs our Bears show, give me a trade idea, and this is the one he gave me. So I think this does make sense for both sides because the Raiders, they just hired Champ Kelly to be the assistant general manager who was with the Chicago Bears last season, and Denzel Good is a good player, would help the Bears out who need interior and need a tackle, which Good can do both of those things. On top of that, he is coming off an injury, and the Raiders drafted somebody in round 3, pick number 90, Dylan Parham. So when you see this deal, who wins it, y'all? Type LV for the Raiders or CHI for the Chicago Bears. If you're a diehard Raiders fan and you want more content from me, I make exclusive videos, extra videos over on Locals. And if you want, I guess, to get in contact with me better, we'll say it's not quite like OnlyFans, but it's like I can talk to you guys a lot easier than I can on YouTube. Why? It's a lot more intimate over there on Locals. So go to RaidersReport.locals.com. I go live once a week. I also drop 2 extra exclusive videos. So scan that QR code and give me a follow. Let's go to the next player here. It's Dallas Cowboys cornerback Jourdan Lewis. And Dallas is really hoping that Calvin Joseph, the 2nd-round pick out of Kentucky, can break out. If the Cowboys trade Lewis away, you save $3.47 million. Also, I was told by Dallas insider Tom Downey that they're hoping that Nahshon Wright and DaRon Bland take that next step, which means what exactly do you do with Lewis? And for a lot of the reasons that I talked about with Eric Rowe, Lewis is a good player, and why not try to sell high while you still can? And last season, he gave up 66.2% completion percentage, 594 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 INTs, and 11 pass breakups. You know you're not going to give Lewis a long-term deal, and if that's the case and you're already drafting his replacements, trade him now, get some draft capital, be smarter, Dallas Cowboys. So here was my trade idea. The Ravens, they get Jourdan Lewis. The Cowboys get a 4th-round pick. All the rumors circulating right now around Baltimore are that Marcus Peters, they're probably going to have to cut him because he wants $15 million, and that's just way too much money. On top of that, Lewis is a Michigan guy. Now, Lewis and McDaniel didn't cross paths in their times in Michigan, but Mike McDaniel last season was the defensive coordinator for Michigan. He comes on over to Baltimore. Who knows? Maybe there's a connection there. Maybe it's an easier conversation starter. So who wins the trade, y'all? Type DAL for the Dallas Cowboys. Or if you believe that the Baltimore Ravens come away with the win, you know what to do. Type BAL. The final player on my NFL Juicy Trade Rumors video here at Chat Sports is Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's entering his 3rd year in the NFL after being drafted in round 1 coming out of LSU. Kansas City, to me, they've kind of told me what they plan on doing. They want to go with a running back by committee. They re-signed Jerick McKinnon. They also signed Ronald Jones this offseason. And I like Clyde. I think he's a good running back. And as a rookie, had 181 carries, 803 yards, also caught the ball 36 times, 297 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns. Here's the issue, though. Battled extra injuries last season, and when it really mattered the most, he didn't get nearly as much production. And when I talk about mattering the most, I'm talking about the playoffs. And some people are like, well, 13 carries, 96 yards in 2 games. That's averaging over 7 yards per carry. That's pretty good. You're right. It is pretty good. But he got out-snapped and outplayed by Jerick McKinnon, who they just brought back, who in 3 games had 34 carries, 150 yards, also 14 catches, 165 yards on 17 targets, and a touchdown. You might think I'm crazy for saying this, but Jerick McKinnon was a better fit in the Chiefs' offense than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So my final trade idea, and this was a tough one because what teams out there would actually be interested in trading for a running back really high? I don't have a good answer for you. So what I'm doing here is I am going back to Clyde's college days. LSU, 2019, that LSU Tigers offense was one of the best offenses, if not the best offense I've ever seen, led by Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Why not just rejoin them, give up a 4th-round pick? He gets to go back there, be a backup running back to Joe Mixon. I think Joe Burrow has enough say in Cincinnati where if he wanted to bring his old teammate, he could do it. So what do y'all think about this one? Type KC for the Kansas City Chiefs, or if you believe that the Cincinnati Bengals win this deal, type CIM. I will say this, I don't know if this deal does go down because, well, I would imagine that the Bengals and the Chiefs look at each other and they're not going to try to help each other out. So we're going to go through these trades one more time really quickly. Always remember here at Chat Sports, I know it's the off season, I know it's the middle of June, but my job here is to keep you guys entertained and have a little bit of fun and not only talk about news and rumors, but take that news and rumors and create a fun show segment around it, which is what you saw today. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like it, make sure you share it, and make sure you're always tuning in because we're dropping videos literally every single day.